Roger. I'm a project leader for AI implementations in manufacturing. And joining me here is Dean, our solutions architect, who has helped design and deploy AP automation for leading manufacturers.
Excited to be here and share the insights and some benchmarks about how AI can help your automation process in Accounts Payable.
So today we're going to be delivering 3 key takeaways, each backed by research from a major partner like Ardent and through our own field experience as well. One of them is AI-powered efficiency, strategic financial visibility, and future-ready finance.
So with modern manufacturing challenges, the statistics are showing, uncertainty and challenging times are with us today and are not going away anytime soon. How do you handle that? You've got to adapt, and AI is the champion of that adoption process. AI, you hear it everywhere. Today, let's focus on the low-hanging fruit. What can you do right out of the box today when you go back to your offices and look at it? Don't think big, you're going to hear me say it, don't try to boil the ocean. Look for small wins.
And that's why digital transformation in AP isn't a nice to have, it's essential for competitiveness. Right, so AP is no longer a back office cost center. It's morphing into a strategic lever for cash flow and supplier relationship management.
So with that, your companies are still struggling with the basics. Manual bottlenecks still exist. The exceptions to the rules or really just are time suck in the process, leading to inefficiencies. AI now has an adoption rate exceeding 75% in organizations, in the front offices. You see it out there. AI is everywhere. Machines, maintenance, support. It's getting its tentacles into everything. So, look at how the back office. You can take your invoices from 9 days is generally what it takes via email, loss, chasing things, down to as the statistics are showing, about a 3-day turnaround process, even less when you apply more AI and have structured systems in the back end. So again, some statistics from one of our partners. They're saying it's taking about $9.40 to process an invoice. This is the cost of time, transportation, loss, payments, or late payment penalties. Best-in-class solutions that are leveraging AI are getting that down to under $3 to process. And that also means down to about 3 days to get things done. That's freeing up a lot of time with your staff to do value-add components. They're not just sitting there clicking buttons anymore. And we're talking complex invoicing, 3-way matching, invoices to packing slips to your purchase orders at line level details.
Yeah, and one of the major goals that they have is to have less invoices to be touched. So they're actually achieving half of their invoices that are not going to be touched at all. So that's half the work already automated and straight into your back-end systems.
So with that time savings, it allows, again, as I said, your staff to become value add. They're no longer just processing an invoice. They're looking at how can the whole accounts payable process be improved. They're looking at other ways of how can they automate their business in their area. They're even being able to outsource and be in touch other areas that they normally wouldn't be able to engage, which really helps retain an employee. They're not just, as I call it, a click monkey filling in boxes. they're bringing value add, they're feeling as if they're contributing to the organization, not another cog in the process.
Yeah, less time fighting fires and more time for supplier innovation projects.
So with that, what does AI bring to the process? Well, any improvement generally helps cash flow. You're able to control when invoices are paid. You're not paying them late. You're not scrambling to get them processed. So they're getting out at a prescribed pace that you can control now. Because you're paying your suppliers, let's be honest, trust and relationships increase and become better. You know, your suppliers don't want to chase you for payments. You don't want to feel bad about paying them late or having to scramble to where to pay them because you forgot about them or somebody didn't approve something and you got caught blindsided. Again, at that point, no penalties, no interest. Your suppliers are happier. So that's, you know, some of the real quick wins.
On-demand visibility and trust, key elements. So, which brings us to our first takeaway, which is AI-empowered efficiency. We know that automation will cut out error-prone manual steps. In real projects, we've seen invoices, as Dean mentioned, drop from $9 down to like $3, and cycles from 9 days to about 3 days.
So with, you know, AI, you want it ingrained in your processes. You don't want it visible. Your solution that you're looking for should be complementary to all your existing systems. Think of it as the framework. You don't want it to dictate how you operate. You want to be able to configure it and have AI learn as you process things. So don't be sold something where you're forced to be put into a box. Make sure it can work the way you work with your existing systems. We see a lot that are forcing you into a mindset that accommodates AI. AI doesn't have to work that way. Don't think that way. The big thing is, again, you don't want to your staff interact with the code. You don't want to be programmers. You don't want your IT staff to be programmers either. This stuff should be intuitive, just like Perplexity and OpenAI. It should be easy and flow with the way you're operating today. So keep those things in mind. If you have to know how to code something to get results out of it, it's probably not mature enough for today. So don't sell yourself short.
So takeaway number 2, strategic financial visibility. So what does that mean? AI brings real-time dashboards. I've seen manufacturers shift from a static monthly report to live analysis on spend, risk, supplier performance, and it directly impacting the cash flow decisions.
So with that, again, the platform needs to be role aware. You want to have the system accessible to data, but the CEO is going to see a much bigger picture than a department head. But you don't want them to have to code something. You don't want your IT, you don't want your third-party provider to have to code this. It has to flow naturally to understand. When I log in, I'll have different roles and responsibilities than Roger will. So when I ask it for the same output, I'm going to get a subset of what I am allowed to see, compared to Roger, who may see the entire picture. So keep that in mind, department heads. And again, I come back to, you don't want to code any of this. It should be intuitive. When you log into the system, it knows what you can see. Systems are out there, they're natively understanding this stuff. So again, be cautious. Don't get stuck into being sold a bottleneck. And again, make sure it integrates with your back-end solutions. You know, have a 360 view on your operations with AI, being able to answer those questions without you having to have a business degree or a degree in mathematics to get the statistics you want to see.
Which brings us to takeaway number 3, which is the future-ready finance. AI is essential for resilience and agility. In my experience, companies that embraced AI-based AP, or accounts payable, adapted better to supply shocks and regulatory changes during the past year.
So again, it comes back to, the solution needs to detect, and be aware of compliancy regulations, what are the rules, stay on top of the expectations of your industry and the sub permissions around it, regulatory, legal. It needs to be proactive and not reactive. You are not the one who should be putting it into the system. The system and the solutions needs to be aware of your vertical and the rules and regulations around that. The future of AI, when you allow it, is really going to empower you to just hand off low-hanging fruit, the low risk, some of the transaction-based stuff. So in AP, for instance, a Bell bill comes in. If it's plus or minus the going trend, just pay it. Here's the GL code we've always used, pay it. Or here's the prorated amount that gets split by departments. AI is just going to do it. You don't have to have your staff worry about splitting these simple day-to-day transactions. And the last point on that, sorry, Roger, future ready, it's going to help you predict when to pay your invoices. So it'll help you with cash flow, saying, this is a high risk or a high, factor in making sure you pay these things early or don't pay them late because the interest rate. You don't have time to search what are the pay rate, what are the rates and the penalties for this stuff. AI can help you prioritize your cash flows. Oh, bonus takeaway, Roger.
Yeah, this is a bonus takeaway. I already mentioned 3 at the top, but this one is actually very important. This is building your roadmap. A lot of organizations don't do this, don't take this exercise. It starts with invoice capture, approval, automation, and even e-voicing. You have to invest in people, training, and the change management, and that matters as much as the technology that you use.
So with requirements gathering, again, it's top down like most of these solutions. You have to have executive level, buy into this and push this down so that the VPs and managers understand this is of critical importance to the business, because that'll drive success in these projects. Also, when I'm interviewing and doing solution architecting of these solutions, I really like to talk to the front level employees, the AP clerks in this instance. I want to see what they do. How are they clicking? How can I be more click efficient with the way they're operating? Because they're the ones who have deviated from the manuals. They found a different way of doing something, or something's popped up. And we all know documentation is not high on our list of things to do day in, day out. So people give me these documentations, but at the end of the day, it's a very different picture. So top level pushes down. It is important to us so that everybody understands this is a priority to us, and making sure that the ground level people are involved in this, because they're the ones with the hidden knowledge. Management needs to reinforce that we're not replacing them. I'm just getting rid of the click monkey approach. You don't want to sit there clicking all day, you're bored. We want to empower you to make decisions. Spread your wings, maybe move within the company, because you already know the dynamics of the company, so you already fit in. You can move around the company and you're not critical to keeping this leg up. You're able to grow. So the 3 KPIs to really do this, figuring out what is your current time to process an invoice. It may be 9 days, it may be 5, it may only be 1, but you've got to be able to measure these solutions so executives know that we've shown a positive to these things. Also, everything today may be manual. When we've applied AI, what is the percentage that have become automated? How much hands off have we allowed people to do? How much time have we saved from them? And it allows you to focus on what are the exception rates now. So what invoices come in that are just awful and require human intervention? Maybe the supplier just doesn't do things right. maybe, our own purchase orders don't contribute to that. It allows your staff to look at those exceptions and make the system better. So it's an ever-evolving, evergreen type of process to improve the way you operate.
Okay, so for all those practices that we've just mentioned, those roadmaps, just critically essential to do. We have some success stories, obviously. Two of them here: Laurentide Controls, which is a distributor of machine parts, and Magna Polycon. Polycon is one of the divisions within the Magna International. They handle a lot of automotive parts, and they did see a great deal of approval time in terms of 60%. 60% of approvals. That's crazy. That's there's people chasing other people for approving an email based on exceptions. If you increase that time by 60%, that's a great deal of time spent somewhere else for the clerks to handle.
We've had a chance to do a little name dropping here. Achieving success comes by extensively mapping the processes, and where it makes sense, injecting automation and AI. I said it before and I'll say it again, we're not boiling the ocean here. We're starting with small processes. Get small wins. If we're a baseball team, let's start getting the base hits here. We're not trying to swing for the fence, and we're certainly not trying to strike out. With these two case studies, they understood and they had their processes mapped out, so we were able to do the deep dives in these processes. They worked with us to analyze the gaps that existed in their processes, so we could, as phase 2 and phase 3, start improving their processes, applying AI where these gaps existed. At the end of the day, AI is kind of a 3-step process. We're going to take the material in, we're going to categorize it first and foremost. Once we've defined what it is, then we're going to start capturing the information that we need off the digital page. And then that capture allows us to apply the processes, the business processes in the back end to achieve the benefit to the business.
So we've reached our questions and discussion time. Just to do a quick recap, we use AI to drive efficiency. We free people for higher value work. We embrace real-time visibility to optimize cash flow and supplier relationships. And we make AP digital so your business can weather uncertainty and change with agility.
There we go. Thanks for attending. I'm happy to take some questions. Maybe lob off a couple of softballs. I appreciate it. The purple in the second row.
So I might know the answer to this already, but say there's 2 amounts on an invoice. There's the pre-discount amount and the post-discount amount, or if there's an invoice that has an amount both in USD and in Canadian, how would we tell AI which amount to take in those situations?
So again, it comes back to analyzing how does the human do it today? So I take the human brain and their processes and we map that out in AI, so it'll know, you can have it look at different currency rates. What's better for us? If you're giving us 2 options, let AI figure out, hey, go reach out, what are the currency rates today? Is it better in Canadian or US dollars? If you give it the option. We look at and say, hey, what's the vendor decision on currency that they want? So they gave us both. They could give us 3 or 4, but if there's a preferred one from your ERP, we'll make sure AI will understand that and pass that information with the preferred currency to that. Same thing with discounts and the rest of it. If the ERP wants multiple different values. So we can give you subtotals, taxes, freight, discounts individually. Sometimes they just want a total number. So it really comes down to what is your ERP and your accounting practice. AI will understand that because we're going to feed it the understanding of how you practice. So when it sees it, it knows how to make those decisions. If it doesn't, our solution has a framework where we can apply machine learning. So your staff can make those decisions, and when they submit the invoice, it goes into a learning matrix. So the next time it sees that question, it knows the answer.
That was going to be my next question, is how do you tell AI communicate?
Yeah, so when you're looking at these solutions, make sure that there is, we call it a machine learning aspect to this, and it isn't coding. Do not allow them to figure out you need coding and you need to send it to, us to bill you extra. AI has the ability to take natural language and say, this invoice came in and the freight was wrong. Fix it. You submit it, AI understands that. Natural language.
I have a second question, if that's okay. Can you share what ERP systems those two success stories were using where AI was successful?
Yeah, so Roger, did you want to start?
I didn't hear the question.
Which ERP systems are we working with?
There's a number of them. We have IFS, Dynamics, we work with Sage, QuickBooks, we work with SAP, Business One. So there's a variety of different ERPs that we work with. Now there's different types of integration. There's a really API level of integration that we do with some of them, and then there's a file exchange, which is probably the easiest way to implement an integration.
So let me give you a translation to that. An API, think of it as a bridge from one system to another. Each side has to build it and meet in the middle. The bridge is stable as long as one side or the other doesn't change the foundation. So APIs are risky. They're a little more cost prohibitive to implement, but they certainly are done. We do it all the time. Flat file is a little bit more intuitive. Think of it as swapping Excel spreadsheets back and forth. Every system in today's world has an import and import process that can do that. We follow those templates and we get the data back and forth. So it really comes down to cost and do I need it live and at my fingertips. API is the way. If I can handle an 8-hour delay and I really don't want the cost and risk of APIs, or my solution doesn't offer it, flat file exchange is the way we handle those hurdles.
Okay, thank you.
I've been told that we ran out of time, but if we have any further